Hi, everyone. Okay, looks like it's time to get started. So I'd like to welcome everyone to today's webinar, What's New in Work Packaging? How O3 is Transforming the Role of the WorkFace Planner. My name is Mandy Coker, and I'm the VP of Education and Engagement for O3 Solutions. For those of you who may be new, the O3 webinar series is a monthly event focused on technology and innovation for the industrial construction space. O3 Solutions is an agile project management software suite that is built on an advanced work packaging framework. We help owner-operators, EPC firms, and contractors building industrial capital assets transform the way they do business with agile methodologies and digitization. Today's agenda will include a brief safety moment and a speaker introduction. Then we'll dive into today's topic. The presentation will be concise. Then we'll have time for a brief question and answer session after the presentation. I encourage you to send your questions directly to me via the chat feature. Every registered attendee for today's webinar will receive a copy of the presentation slides and a link to the recording via email within 2 business days. We will also post the webinar recording on our website, o3.solutions, along with previously recorded events that you might want to check out in our education library. Our safety moment for today is about staying safe when you visit a gas station. More than 5,000 fires occur each year at gas stations with over 50 injuries or fatalities and millions of dollars of property damage. For those of you who commute to the office or the job site each day, here are some reminders to keep the environment around you safe. I won't go through each item, but some highlights include not having an open flame anywhere near the gas pump, remembering to turn off your engine before fueling up, and especially in the colder months, discharging any static electricity before you reach for the pump. If a fire does start, do not try to remove the nozzle or stop the flow. Leave the area and call for help. You can also find an emergency shutoff button near the station door. These are good reminders for what may seem like a mundane activity, but something you should consider in your daily life. Now I'd like to take a moment to introduce you to our speaker for today. Ron Dardar is the project manager for the client success team at O3. He's been in the construction industry for nearly 15 years and is a self-proclaimed agile enthusiast. Ron has worked with several of our clients to implement agile project management and advanced work packaging technologies, and has built strong relationships with many O3 super users to help drive the adoption and advancement of AWP in their organization. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ron, and everyone on the call. I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Mandy, for that introduction. And thanks, everyone, for joining us on the webinar today. A little bit more about myself. Like Mandy mentioned, I do have nearly 15 years experience in construction. I'm originally from South Louisiana, where I got my construction experience near the Gulf Coast. Spent some time as a document control employee and eventually worked my way up to a project manager. From there, I started working for another company, still in the oil and gas industry, but emphasized in software development. And that's really where I got my passion with helping with software development projects and customer implementations. As a PM for O3 Solutions, I help clients configure and set up their workspace. I will also assist with training to make sure that clients understand everything we're going to discuss today and that end users understand everything that O3 can be used for to help promote work processes across their organization. Like Mandy mentioned, today we're going to be focusing on how we can make the life of WorkFace Planner easier. And the things that we're going to focus on today are going to be configuration, automation, visualization, and standardization. I'm currently managing a portfolio of projects, from mega-sized projects to clients that have a portfolio of a number of small projects, and we are utilizing a lot of the tools that we are going to be discussing today to automate and standardize their work process. O3 has also been battle tested in the field with over 200,000 work packages created and executed to date. Today's configuration and automation examples, we will be focusing on IWPs. But that It's important to remember that these aren't the only work packages that O3 can support. We support a number of work packages from construction, engineering, installation, testing, and scaffolding, all of which can be configured and automated to streamline the work process. O3 offers a digital alternative to paper-based work packages that doesn't rely on a 3D model, but can most certainly be used in conjunction with a 3D model. We will begin with configurations. O3 allows clients to configure their workspace to ensure workflow within O3 aligns with the workflow of the business while adhering to AWP best practices. With configurations, WorkFace planners can rest easy knowing that no steps in work package development will be forgotten. These configurations include customizing development steps, configuring workflows using preconditions and transitions, and configuring forms. So let's start with a question. How does a WorkFace planner build a work package? The correct answer is those steps can differ from client to client, project to project, or contractor to contractor. But no matter what your process looks like, O3 gives you the ability to outline those steps. Development steps give owners, project teams, and WorkFace planners the ability to create a repeatable process for building a work package. Repeatable processes save time when a WorkFace planner is creating a large number of work packages, and also creates consistency from one work package to the next, or from one WorkFace planner to the next. O3's development steps can be defined with the objective of the step, the order in which it should be completed, the estimated time to complete each step, and if it should be auto-created for every work package. The development steps grid view allows WorkFace planners to clearly see the status, priority, and the due date of each step. Being able to assign users is important because even though the development steps will fall under the responsibility of your WorkFace planner, that doesn't necessarily mean he or she will personally complete each step. The WorkFace planner has the ability to delegate these steps to other users on the project. Expectations can clearly be set by assigning due dates. With preconditions and transitions, we help WorkFace planners by ensuring an entity has met the underlying requirements necessary to move into a new status. Preconditions dictate if a work package needs to be 100% developed, document, constraint-free, or approved before moving into a new state. Transitions limit the list of available statuses when moving an entity from one status to the next. The list of statuses can vary from one option to many. In the example on my screen, I show how these two together can be used to promote proper workflow. So here we can see I have an IWP and I am requiring that it be 100% developed and 100% documented before moving into the state ready for review. We can also see that the IWP and the status for ready for review can transition back into the status of development, or it can move forward into the status of approved. So what this looks like on an actual IWP is that an IWP in the status of ready for review, if we see that the package had any issues or missing any necessary information, we can move it back to development. So that way it can further be developed with the necessary information. If everything checks out, we can update the status to reflect it being approved. Configurable forms help WorkFace planners by allowing them to focus on the information that matters. During the implementation process, O3 project managers, like myself, will work with clients and WorkFace planners to define the necessary fields needed on a work package. So what we see is our clients earlier on in their AWP journey will want to limit the available fields to reduce confusion. But as their process matures, so can their O3 workspace. Fields can easily be removed and added to all detail forms. So the 5 steps on your screen are the standard high-level steps to follow for an individual work package. During configuration, our PMs will work with our clients to make sure that each step is set up correctly. Creating development steps workflows, and configuring detailed forms are some examples of how configurations are used to support WorkFace planners during the create step. We've seen this process followed successful with a manual process, but at O3, we always look for ways to optimize and streamline the day-to-day responsibilities of the people using our software. So we'll talk next about how we use automation to automate our process. The use of automation helps WorkFace planners by cutting down the manual effort of managing their work. Our company is very agile, and we really pride ourselves on taking client feedback and then trying to use that feedback to figure out ways that we can make their lives easier. An example of this, where we were receiving lots of feedback that manually assigning every constraint and approval was becoming an administrative burden. Our answer to this issue is automated constraints and approvals. Automating the creation of constraints and approvals not only cuts down on the administrative burden, but it also reduces the chances of a WorkFace planner missing a constraint or approval when creating a work package. So we'll start with two questions. What is a constraint? A constraint is any item that blocks work from getting done and can be resolved. Constraints are associated with another entity, such as a work package, document, piece of equipment, and much more. Now, should every constraint be automated? Probably not. Some constraints require human input, but these are handy when you have identified constraints that apply to every work package of a particular work package type. What I like to think of automated constraints, a good use case is these are my baseline constraints that are going to apply to every single work package of a particular type. As a PM, I will help clients create these during the implementation process to support the constraint step of building the work package. Setting up these constraints are really easy. Automated constraints are set up in two steps. Step 1, creating your constraint type. Constraint types are a way to group constraint items that will share similar properties. At the most basic level, you can set the default days due, and this can be set to stay in line with the planned start date of an IWP. Require a constraint to be assigned to a user before the status can be changed, so make sure that it does have an owner. And if it is a hard constraint, which means that the IWP cannot get started until that constraint is cleared. Step 2 is creating a constraint item. For constraint items, these can be configured to be auto-assigned to a planner user, which is the WorkFace planner or the responsible person of the work package, the company, a role, a user, or a user group. So for complex projects, these constraints can auto-assign based on the contract, discipline, or purpose designated on the work package. So in the example that you see on my screen, we can see that I have a filter applied that only an work package with the discipline E&I will get this constraint created for it. So what that means is that any work package that is of the E&I discipline will automatically get this constraint created. Another way we are helping WorkFace planners is by auto-creating constraints for any work package, document, or drawing added as a predecessor to a work package. These predecessor constraints will automatically be closed when the predecessor is complete. What is allowed to be added as a predecessor is configurable for each entity type. Now, this puts all of your constraints in one place for easy management. So it's important to remember that O3 is not only used for constraint identification. O3 is full constraint management. We allow users to track status, priority, due dates, constraint owners, and much more. Auto-created approvals makes the approval step of a work package process simple. These work similarly to auto-created constraints. They are also set up in two similar steps. Step 1 is creating your approval type. Like constraint types, approval types are a way to group approval items that will share similar properties. These properties include submitter role, approver role, and the new status that the entity will enter once the approval is complete. The approval type can also be set to require assignment before the status can be changed, as well as restricting status changes to the person assigned to the approval. Step 2 is marking the approval type as auto-create and creating an auto-created approval item. For approval items, these can be configured to be auto-assigned to a planner user, company, role, user, or user group. Like constraint items, approval items can also be auto-assigned based on the contract, discipline, or purpose designated on a work package. So you can see using a combination of these configurations can reduce the chances of step being missed throughout the life cycle of a work package. Now, although the features we are going to review for the release and track steps have been capabilities of O3 for some time now, I felt it was important to highlight how we support WorkFace planning throughout every step. And one of the final steps in our work package process is release the IWP to the field. So at this point, all of our configurations and automations that we have configured ensure that the work package is 100% ready to be released to the field. O3 makes releasing packages really simple. O3 has built-in PDF templates that allows WorkFace planners to quickly print and issue IWPs to the field. Rules of credit can be set up to track the progress of a work package during execution. The execution tasks capture the unit of measure, such as linear feet, and the estimated hours to complete the task. Rates of placement can be used to auto-estimate the hours based on the units. Also outlined in the individual execution task steps, these steps might include stage, erected, welded and bolted, etc. O3 has a library of default execution steps, but these can be overwritten or a new set can be imported. It's important to note that the configuration would only happen once per project, and the WorkFace Planner isn't writing these steps out every time. Each execution step can be given a weight, and as steps are marked complete, users can easily see % complete and the earned versus estimated hours. Users can manually check off these steps, or O3 has the ability to automate this by integrating with other systems that are being used to track execution progress. So in the past, the status of these work packages would live siloed in the heads, spreadsheets, or desk of your WorkFace Planner until it was time for a weekly update meeting. That method provides little visibility into where we are in the process of creating and executing a work package. But with O3, clients can easily see the % complete, developed, constraint-free, approved, and documented. We receive a lot of positive feedback from our clients about how convenient it is to log into O3 and be able to see the status and the progress of a work package. It's also important to note that all grid views, like the one we're looking at on our screen, the columns can be moved around and adjusted to the view of the user's liking. O3 offers many tools that give clients and WorkFace planners visibility into their work for more accurate planning, more meaningful meetings, and proper resourcing. The combination of these tools can ensure teams are discussing the right topics. These tools include Gantt charts, team goals, labels, and watchers. These visualizations are very powerful when teams need to collaborate on shared work items. The first tool we will look at is the IWP Gantt chart. The Gantt view gives users the ability to see area, discipline, estimated hours, number of open constraints, and the planned start and finish date of an IWP, all in one place and on a timeline. The key and designated status colors allow users to clearly and quickly see the status of each IWP. Features like our 30, 60, 90 look-ahead filters allow users to focus on the right information at the right time. But it's important that the users aren't limited to just these views. Our custom date range enables users to pick a range of time that they are most interested in viewing. A company's success depends in large part on its ability to identify and achieve goals that align with its mission. O3 allows visibility into these goals, but that visibility isn't enough. Goals can be assigned to a goal owner, can be assigned a planned start and finish date, as well as an actual start and finish date for real-time tracking. We also take goal tracking a step further by allowing users to create an action plan and make sure the goal is achieved. Each task can be assigned to a user for shared ownership of that goal. As tasks on the action plan are completed, the goal progress will increase. Each goal can also have a measurement or multiple measurements. Measurements are goal ratings on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. These measurements can be manually assigned or generated based on data being inputted into O3. Key measurements for a WorkFace Planner might include early constraint identification, which is defined as constraint identification begins 8 weeks before the planned start date of a work package. Early constraint completion, constraints are completed 4 weeks prior to the planned start date. And sufficient constraint identification, a minimum of 4 constraints is identified for each work package. Never miss an update by using O3's Watcher feature. Watchers receive an automatic email update anytime a change is made on any item they are watching. Users have the ability to manually add themselves as a watcher, or they can add others as a watcher. Users are automatically added to watchers on any item that they create or update. This is handy when you want to stay up to date on changes to items that aren't assigned to you. So I have an example of this where I have a client that has multiple teams working on a project, and each team has a team leader. That team leader is ultimately responsible for the action items, the risks, the work packages that are going to fall under the responsibility of his team, but that one person cannot own every single item. So what he does is he will delegate these things, but he still wants to be in the loop as changes are being made. So what he'll do is he'll add himself as a watcher, and that way he is up to date. He gets an email notification with any changes to anything that he needs to be aware of. And what you automatically become a watcher of is configurable within the user's notification settings. So here you can see on your screen, we have approvals, constraints, contracts. So what you interact with, remember, you will automatically be assigned to a watcher, but you have the ability to turn those things off. So that way you can limit the amount of notifications that you get and just focus on the things that matter. Never lose data again by using labels. Ad hoc labels can be added to any entity and can be used to filter grids and widgets. So some examples of some labels could be OSVL or ISVL, and those can simply be used to find data within a grid, used to filter a widget. So labels are extremely handy whenever you want to be able to quickly reference information. Standardization makes starting and running a project a breeze. At O3, we understand a lot goes into starting a new project, and that's why we want to cut down on the project admin burden by offering project templates. Templates allow users to apply previously used project admin settings to any new project for quick startup. Any project can be saved as a template. We also understand that one size does not fit all. So what I'll see is that my clients will set up multiple templates to accommodate different scope and size projects so they can quickly apply those to a new project. Standardize your meetings with dashboards. Dashboards enable clients to make data-driven decisions by putting the most important information at their fingertips. O3 comes preloaded with default dashboards for each role. For example, the dashboard of a WorkFace Planner might include IWPs, open constraints, mechanical equipment. What I'll also see is many of our clients use dashboards and data during all of their meetings to keep the team focused and on task. So what I've seen is they will have their meeting agenda and they will create their dashboard to flow with that meeting agenda. So that way they can stay on task and on target. So in conclusion, today we covered configuration, automation, visualization, and standardization in O3. We covered how the use of configurations and automation can lower administrative burden and help outline a clear and repeatable process. Visual tools can create transparency and insight into important work packaging data, and how standardization allows clients to quickly start up and apply their process to new projects. That's everything we have for today. Mandy, I'll turn it back over to you.
Great, thanks so much, Ron. That was a lot of information coming at us. So I'm hoping that you guys have thought through some of the questions that you may have for Ron, especially if you want to ask about particular implementations that he's had with clients and any kind of things that he may have encountered. I wanted to get us kicked off a little bit before we got started, but as I'm reading through a couple of my questions, if you have questions, you can submit those directly to me using the chat feature. You see over to the right where I have been talking to you through the chat feature. So you can respond directly to me with your questions, or you can put those in the questions box, but we'll go ahead and get it kicked off. So Ron, there are many package types and different constraints on different types of projects. In O3, can you talk a little bit about who can be assigned a constraint?
That's a good question. So the answer is anyone. Anyone with a user login to O3 and who has access to the project can be assigned a constraint. This could be members from the owners, could be members from the EPC firm, could be members of the individual contractors on the project, but anyone with an O3 login who has access can be assigned a constraint.
Okay, so if I am an owner and I'm the one that's providing O3, I can give access to my contractors.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, great. In your presentation, you mentioned templates. So can you talk a little bit about what you mean by a project template?
Yeah, so a project template is really handy. So what it does is it takes a lot of what we talked about today and allows clients to quickly apply those to a new project. So all of these configurations and automations and any other project admin settings, really anything that's going to fall within a project admin settings capability, we can quickly take that, copy it, and apply it to a new project. And what we can do is we can set up multiple different templates. So we can say that, okay, of this scope and size project, this template could be used. And then if it's a bigger project and we need to have all work package types, for example, we could quickly apply that to the new project.
And have you seen that happen on like portfolios or operating facilities?
Yeah, so it's a little less common whenever you have those really big mega projects that are multi-year, just because they're not using multiple templates or starting up new projects regularly. Clients that have a portfolio of a bunch of small projects and maybe they're kicking over a maintenance project or a turnover project, they can quickly apply those templates for your shorter duration projects. Okay,
thanks. So we do have one question that came in. Let me see if I can paraphrase it a little bit because it's long. So on some jobs, there are multiple companies working on the same project. How do you handle multiple contractors or contracts for that?
So we actually have a couple different ways that we solve that problem. The first being, you're going to notice on pretty much everything in O3, whether it be a work package, a document, a drawing, we do have the ability to assign a company to that. So that's step one. Now, if you're talking about restricting access, we do handle that through contracts. So I can assign a contractor to a contract, and then on my, let's stick with the theme of IWPs, on my installation work package, I can assign a contract to that. And whatever contractor is assigned to that contract essentially can see that work package.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I am cognizant of the time that we have. It looks like we're coming up on the end of our short 30 minutes here. I want to invite anyone who wants to learn more about what you've heard today to contact us. We'd be happy to share a more tailored demonstration that fits your specific project needs. Thanks also to Ron for your time today and your preparation. I know that this was a lot of material that you covered in a very short time, so I really appreciate it. As a reminder, everyone that has registered and attended the event today will receive a recording and a copy of the final presentation slides within 2 business days. I also invite you to join us for our next monthly webinar that's going to be focused on constraint management, which will be held on March 25th. You will receive an invitation with those details soon, so stay tuned. Everyone on the O3 team appreciates that you've shared some of your valuable time with us today, and we hope that you found the information engaging and educational. If you have any outstanding questions or want more information, please contact us at info@o3.solutions. Thanks again, and we hope that you have a safe and productive day.